real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Jeff. How are you?
Good. I got to hit this guitar for you because that's just awesome. I love that one.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You recorded that at home, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, with my piano.
Yeah, right. We've got some awesome guests with us today, and that is Greg Kilroy and Ellen Fankhanel with Keller Williams Realty, Sonoran Living, the Velocity Group.
Yeah.
Velocity Group, I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. That's like powerful name.
It is.
It actually came from my past life. I worked in the bicycle industry. So I worked at a bike shop in college, then I raced bikes, worked for the bike industry. And when I left, those were all the people that I knew. And I wanted there to be some tie into cycling, and yet I didn't want the general public to think, oh, he's just some bike guy with a license.
Oh, that's a cool story.
That's awesome. I love biking,
really good
but
story.
I'm a mountain biker. Do you do mountain biking?
Yeah. Wow. The other piece of that is that we hope at some point that our brand has value and we can sell it. And I think that when an agent names the team after themselves, the ability to sell that asset is significantly diminished if that person's going to be gone. So.
Amen to that.
Absolutely. You also like to hike.
Yeah, pick that up.
And you just finished like the Arizona Trail, is that right?
That's correct.
Whoa.
So tell us a little bit about that, because that sounds like a long walk.
It is. It is. So it's a total of 800 miles. They call it. It's really 796 something. Anyway, 800 miles. Starts in Mexico, goes to Utah. I hiked it with the same good friend of mine. Did it sequentially, so in order from south to north, and did it over about a 5-year period. We'd go out, for between 50 and 100 miles at a stretch. And this last bit was our longest outing. Over 6 days, we covered 106 miles.
Wow.
To finish her up.
All right.
That's crazy.
So I'm picturing you doing it all together, and Forrest Gump when he has the big beard, after so much running. Anyway.
It's funny, there are a lot of people who do it that way. It's called through hiking versus what we did, which is segment hiking. And all the through hikers, they take a picture when they finish, and there's not a one of them doesn't have a big giant beard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
I bet. I wonder how many of them keep that beard.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, if you're through hiking it, that means you've got a lifestyle that lets you take off a couple of months.
Sure.
So I think a lot of them do have beards.
Oh, I'm sure.
So how do you actually get to your destinations? I mean, do you drive every time and someone pick you up? And
Good question. Yeah, logistically, it was an absolute puzzle.
Yeah.
So depending on where we were, we would drive 2 cars in some cases, put one at the end, grab that guy, shuttle him to the beginning.
And then drive back.
In some cases, we hired Uber. We called a bike shop and hired a bike shop employee to shuttle us out. We did all kinds of creative things to figure out how we, begin and end. But total puzzle.
Wow. Have you seen that documentary, the guy that climbs that mountain with, what's it called, Free Solo or something like that? Have you guys seen that? You have to watch it. It's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, it's crazy. He climbs up, I don't know how many thousand feet.
Yeah.
No ropes.
Heard about
Really?
it, haven't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat thinking, no way. I mean, my heart was going just from watching it. But anyway, because I don't like heights. I'm like, there's no way I would even attempt that. No way. So Ellen, you had to hold down the fort.
I held down the fort. And just like, anything, when somebody leaves on vacation, things got busy and crazy. And so when he'd check in, we just got a showing on this, or we're getting an offer on this, he's like, oh, great, I should leave town more often.
Yeah. No, every agent knows that one. If business is slow, try and take some time off. It'll ramp up, guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't you guys introduce yourselves, how long you've been in business and what got you into real estate altogether?
So I'm Ellen, and 12 years I've been in the business. I was at a time in my life when my children were in school full time, and being in real estate has always been a dream of mine. And so that's when I met Jackie and Greg, actually.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Working at Keller Williams.
Thanks to Jackie, right, over there?
She a
In the
matchmaker?
corner. Security title.
She is.
She is a matchmaker. Wow.
That's how we met. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We are a real estate Keller Williams love story.
Oh,
beautiful.
That's nice. No.
Don't you got something on your little sound effects thing, Jeff? Probably not.
A love button?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
If you touch your love button, I'm not shaking my hand.
Oh no, that's bad. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
So I'm Greg Kilroy, and I've been in real estate since 2003, so coming up on 16 years. I got my associate brokers last year, and I got all the other little initials that the public has no idea what they mean. I was a finance and real estate major in college, but went to work in the bike industry out of school and loved that. It was a ton of fun, but it was never going to provide me a career. So when I left that to strike out and see what the world had to offer, while I was thinking about what I'd do, I went to real estate school, and it came really quickly and easily to me, and so I decided to go for it, and fell in love right away. I'd never do anything else. I absolutely am passionate about this. It is my thing.
Cool.
And Ellen, I remember seeing her the first day she was in the office, and just took my breath away.
There we go.
Love button.
Yeah, I chased her for years. I've never had more no's before eventually getting a yes.
See, that's proof he's a great realtor.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
We meet with clients. I point to her and say, "This is evidence that I'm the most amazing salesman in the world."
No.
Did you cold call her?
I door knocked her. I didn't know.
That's so awesome. Great story. Now, you guys have a very specific niche as well, right?
Yeah.
Architectural properties?
Correct,
Why don't we hear a little bit about that?
All right. And before I talk about that, I want to say that we're not exclusively architectural properties.
Sure.
It's what we love. It's what we're passionate about, what we're trying to expand in, but we're referral-based. So we help good people with their real estate needs. But the architectural focus, a lot of people, when I mention that, the first thing they say is, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I like to describe it as something that's not a tract home. So that can be a historic home built in the 20s or 30s, and that can be mid-century modern, which we truly love. And then current architectural homes, custom homes, luxury scale, usually built by a noteworthy AIA architect.
Okay. All right. Good definition.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
that.
Yeah.
So how long have you been focused on that particular?
Honestly,
and I know you have the focus other,
Right.
but what really got you interested in that, I guess?
That's funny. That's a good question, because I mentioned the cycling background.
Yeah.
So I competed in that, and I was on a team. The team sponsor was the Construction Zone, and they're an architect design build firm, and their principal and several of their key employees were also competitive cyclists. That was the team I was on. I moved to live closer to kind of my core friends, who were my teammates. We rode 6 days a week together. And so we'd spend a lot of time on the bike, and I'd hear them breaking down architecture. They'd pass by a house and they'd talk about who the architect was, or a certain element of it, whether it was the glazing, the roof line, the exterior cladding. It's very interesting. A lot more interesting than another beige stucco box.
Yeah.
So I started to look into it a little bit, and it seemed there weren't a lot of folks really focused on it. And in truth, now that we've been doing it for a while, there's 20, 25 people who give it any intentional focus in their business. Now, just about anybody would take any house they can get, right? Most agents, if it comes their way, they're going to try and list it and sell it.
Right.
But I think whenever you focus on something, when you specialize in it, it allows. We just dropped off our car. It happens to be a German car. We dropped it off at a place that services German cars only. I think they know it better.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of logic to focusing on a niche, whether it's a neighborhood or a type of home, or the background of the people that are your clients.
Right.
They say what you focus on expands, right?
Absolutely,
right.
yeah.
What is your favorite, style of home then, if you had to choose?
Absolutely.
If you choose one for yourselves to live in, or maybe you already do, but what?
Well, 100% for me, it would be the modern aesthetic, not contemporary, not Santa Fe, not Tuscan, for sure not Tuscan. Purely modern is my aesthetic, which means you kind of strip away the unnecessary. That's usually clean and simple.
Minimal.
Yeah.
Minimal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like a tiny house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yet...
No.
I do like those tiny houses,
I like
actually.
tiny houses, too.
There you go.
So one of the things we love to do, when we see a property, we talk about whether we can both like it, and we have found a lot of congruence into something that I can be excited about and her, because our tastes started further apart and have kind of moved together, where we see a blend that would make us both really happy.
All right. And you can probably speak to the client better, I'm assuming, than what just the average agent is going to, as far as if it is a historic home,
Yeah.
right? I mean, because if I walked into a historic home, I'd be like, "Wow, okay, well, it's an
It's
old
old.
house."
Yeah.
But you walk in and you probably say, "Okay, you can design. I mean, you can tell what
Original
type
windows
of
and-
roofing, what kind of decor, whatever. I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
your specialty is, right?"
Right.
So I'm assuming that is better on the listing side for the appointments.
It is, and when we go on appointments, we have a super high close rate, like over 95%. We just need more appointments. So for us, in our marketing that we do to folks if we don't know them already, and we reach out to some people who are in architectural homes,
Right.
and we say, look, when it's time to sell, talk to a specialist. If I could change anything about the requirements for real estate licensure or a real estate
Right.
there's real estate
Sure.
related law in Arizona, it would be that you have to interview 3 people before you hire somebody. Because I think the general public continues in this loop where they don't get great service and they don't expect it and they accept it,
Yeah.
and then they complain about real estate agents. Well, there are amazing agents in our market in Arizona. There's lots of great ones.
Right.
There's also lots of crummy ones.
That's right.
So
There's just a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
There's just a lot.
yeah,
There's a lot.
low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah. They usually hire their family members.
yeah, great
Their
way to make a
friends.
decision. Like
Yes.
if you were going to have a surgery, would you hire your buddy or would you hire the
Yeah.
surgeon with the highest likelihood of getting you off the table alive?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
The one who does it full time.
Right. Yeah. Full time.
Well, how about we talk? You mentioned referral based. So either one of you want to, Ellen, you want to share how much of your business is coming from a referral and
Sure.
why? And
Sure.
How?
Well, about 92% of our business comes from referral.
That's amazing.
So it's just keeping in touch with our sphere. We have a whole system and plan that we implement, but it's really, those conversations, the face-to-face, having a coffee, going to lunch,
Yeah.
just calling them, checking on them. Hey, how are you? How's your family? Do you need anything? We're here. And those conversations lead to new referrals.
Is that the 33 touch program
Absolutely.
or 36 now?
Yeah,
I
it's
guess?
a 36. We have our 36 touch program. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
that includes, the traditional marketing of just sold, just listed postcards. Client events have been really great for us.
Oh, okay.
And calling our people.
What type of
Showing 'em-
events?
I was going to ask the very
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. What type of events?
So every year, Greg goes fishing with his dad in Cabo. And so we have a fish fest for our clients. So we hire a chef,
nice.
and we have a cool venue and invite them. And so it's a great story, too.
Wow, that's a lot of fishing you must be doing.
So truth.
Yeah.
So truth here.
Yeah.
Are they all the ones you caught or the ones you bought?
So far we got blanked 1 year where we
Okay.
didn't catch any tuna dorado. We did catch some marlin, but those are catch and release.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, have come home always with between 30 and 80 pounds of filleted yellowfin tuna and dorado.
Oh, wow. All
That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's all. We just interviewed, actually, an agent in Cabo.
Yeah.
Oh,
on the
you
show.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put out the invite out there to agents that might want to come down and see some of the
Yeah.
projects that they're working on.
Yeah.
That he will set you up, really nice, obviously, right, in a
Yeah.
place, but also do like a taco tour.
Yeah.
fun.
That really. That
I will
stuck
sign
with
up
me. I'm
for
like,
that.
"Oh, my wife and I are like, we should
Me
plan a
too.
trip down there. Taco tour, but yeah, Luis Tucker is his name, so
Okay.
you guys can listen to that on the podcast. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
That's great.
So referral business, love it. Big events. So how often do you do those types of events? Is that a once a year thing?
Nope. Well, the Fish Fest
The
is
fish
once
one,
a year.
right?
4 events per year.
Yeah,
Four
so
bars.
once
So-
a quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, so coming up, we're going to have a little happy hour thing at Postino's. We've also done spring training baseball, or, out on the lawn. I bought obnoxiously large tarps, took up a huge area on the lawn, and yeah, it was a sold-out day, too.
That was
The
fun.
Cubs fans were not happy. But,
Yeah. Our clients were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
And we've done a happy hour at
The Biltmore.
the Biltmore. They
Okay.
have the Right Bar, which is consistent with our architectural tie-in. What else have we done?
Movie night.
That's one that we want to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We haven't done movie night. But
Star Wars is coming up, I think.
yeah, especially for summer because it's hot and it's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
great venue.
No, that's awesome. So, would you say that's your number one, like,
Mhm.
way of staying in front of your client, or number one way of really building that referral base? Are those events?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it's just part of the whole thing.
Mhm.
And one of the things we learned through Keller Williams training, going to masterminds and learning from other people around the country who've been doing this for a long time, I used to have this fear about throwing an event of what if nobody shows up.
Right, sure.
So what we learned is it's about the invitation, not the event. Gives you an opportunity to
That's
pick up the
right.
phone and call them and say, we'd love to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't make it, that's okay. But you're still calling them.
Right.
It's a touch, it's a contact, and you're coming from contribution, which, by the way, for other agents listening to this, who many I know have call reluctance, if I call my client, what am I going to say?
Hmm.
And I think the fear is rooted in this idea that you're calling to ask for something. So if you shift your mind and you say, I'm calling to offer something, I'm coming from contribution, I call them up, we say, how can we help your business? What does a perfect customer look like for you so that I can be on the lookout? Do you need any home services? Because I've got great painters, great electricians, great handyman, all those things. What can we do to help you?
Yeah.
And by the way, the law of reciprocity says when you help somebody, they want to help you back.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And just a thought, right?
Yeah.
That you're-
Yeah, when you mentioned 92%, that means you're tracking your numbers really well. You just put it on a spreadsheet, or you doing?
Spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Use a certain CRM or anything?
We use Top Producer right
Okay.
now, and we're looking forward to transitioning to the Keller Williams Command
Got it.
platform. And we keep meeting with like our tech ambassador, our office, and looking at the functionality because it
Yeah.
continues to build up, but it's not at the point yet that we're going to make the jump and abandon our current systems.
Right, right.
Because I think if we had a smaller business, we could deal with some of the turbulence,
Yeah,
but we don't want to add that layer of complication to it.
Right.
So.
I get
Okay.
you. I understand.
Now, we mentioned, so before we started, you guys talked about the team, right? And that you're in a growth mode. Is that right? Is that what we kind of envision going
Cool.
through the rest of 2019 into 2020?
Yes. Yay.
Yay?
So we have a great executive assistant, and we just hired a operation manager, and she's building systems for us, and it's basically so we can add value to the
Sure.
agents that join our team. We want that platform that's solid, and it gives us a better quality of life too.
Yeah. We're seeking some life balance, but in terms of the team growth, I've seen it happen a lot where an agent has some modicum of success and they say, I'm going to have a team. And they start inviting people on their team, and that person who joins their team pays a certain amount for what they earn. And the value proposition usually isn't well defined or isn't returned by that lead agent.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes the person's like, I know I'm giving up X percent.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting that much back. That person usually leaves the team and usually leaves the brokerage. So what we really didn't want to do is didn't want to fail when we built our team. We wanted to make sure that we have a super strong foundation, that we documented exactly how we're going to hold them accountability, what our standards are for number of contacts per week, number of open houses, number of listings that you've previewed. We want to have clearly defined standards. We also want to have very, very specific systems. Like, for instance, early in my career, I realized when you change price on a listing, you got a ton of stuff you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, instead of relying upon memory, we've built checklists of all the things you have to do, from the flyers, the MLS change form, changing it in the MLS, sending the paperwork back to the client, turning the paperwork into the broker, sending out an update to any of the agents who've seen. So there's a ton of stuff, right? So we've built a checklist, and who's responsible. The agent's going to do this, the admin's going to do this, and what the timeline is. So we're taking away a lot of the ways maybe a less experienced agent would fail. And so we really want to make sure we're giving them a ton of value for anything we're going to take from them.
Right. Okay.
Makes sense.
So if agents are, so the agents that are listening or watching, if they wanted to reach out to you to ask more about that, how would they do that?
Well,
Like, what's the best way to contact you?
phone or email. So the phone, 480-235-4312. You want to read my email, or you put it as a graphic somewhere?
We can put it if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
No worries.
Please. Yeah. Nobody wants to listen to me.
So agents could also reach out to you if they have a property that's maybe a historic home.
Absolutely.
That they feel like they don't know enough about.
Yeah.
And refer it over.
Yeah.
I mean, are you starting to see that a little bit, or do you have agents that are starting to
Definitely
know that that's really an expertise of yours?
Yes, and what happens very frequently, at least within our brokerage, is an agent will come to me and say, come to us, can you help us? Say, yeah, let's partner on it. Instead of having them hand it off, we partner on it. That's a little trickier, different brokerages, but
sure.
But yeah, we come from an abundance mentality, and we're not restricted to saying we're only going to help if we get paid. We like to help other human beings and think that we'll get help back somehow.
Right. No, that's a great way to do it. Sure. Any other things you want to share with agents before we move to the next segment?
Call them.
Yeah. Keep in touch with your database.
Yeah.
Make those calls. Love on your people.
Yeah.
You know, and if business is slow, that means you're not talking to enough people. So just keep.
That's true.
I love that.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Keep at it.
You guys ready to get in the ring?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, oh.
You are. And either both of you can answer or one. So however you want to handle it. I'll ask the question. You can decide who wants to answer or both. What's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Do what you love.
I like that.
That's good.
All right. How about your favorite mobile app?
I still like the Kelly app, even though we're not fully in the platform. The Kelly app does a lot of cool stuff.
Snap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool feature for sure.
Yeah.
You have one too, or you like that one?
I like the Kelly. We'll
Kelly?
go with the Kelly.
All right. How about a book recommendation?
Hands down. It's a psychology book called Influence, Science and Practice.
Okay.
Written by a guy who was a psychology professor at ASU. I don't think he's there anymore, named Cialdini. It is so absolutely far and away above my favorite book that I utilize in interaction with people in terms of trying to influence an outcome.
All right.
I could talk about that for a whole hour.
Okay, well, we're not going to be here that long.
Okay.
No. But if there are other major tips that you want to share about it, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear
So what was the name of it again?
Influence,
Science
and practice.
So you could influence
All right.
Jeff to say something that he really doesn't want to say.
No,
Or
I'll give
do.
you one quick example. Okay, so they did a study. They had people go up to an airport line and say, "Hey, do you mind if I cut in line? I'm going to miss my flight." As you could imagine, the compliance rate was reasonably high. Most people would have a heart for that and say, "I don't
Sure.
want." Then they played with the reason a bit. They said, "Do you mind if I cut in line? I don't like waiting lines."
No way.
The compliance was almost as high. What they teased out of this study was that when you give a reason for something, compliance goes way up.
Huh.
Good reason or bad reason. But it's always better to give one than not.
Sure.
So think about this. Have you ever heard a radio ad for an auto dealership having a sale?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're trying to win a contest, right? We're number one in the nation. We're trying to stay there. We've taken in too many trades. We have too many of last year's vehicles. Whatever it is, they always give you a reason because in the mind, it creates this connection of, oh, that's logical. Okay. So if you're sending an offer and your price is lower than the list, give a reason. Even if it's like, my clients don't like paying full price, whatever it is, better to give a reason.
Wow.
A good one's better than a bad one, but
Sure.
give a reason.
All right.
Awesome.
That's cool.
So there's dozens of things like that I've applied to our practice based on what I've read in that book. It's good.
And our marriage.
Oh, yeah, whoops.
I better read that book.
So that you can...
That's right.
Yeah,
So I can.
absolutely.
She Jedi mind tricks me right back.
That's right.
Wash the dishes because
right.
I want you to.
Oh, that's right.
Doesn't have to be a good reason, apparently.
That's right.
No, that's right. You have a different book, or
Dare to Lead. That's a book
Dare
that
to
I
Lead.
just
Okay.
finished. Brene Brown is the author, and she's fantastic. So that was,
cool?
yeah. So I recommend that
All
for everyone.
right. Productivity tool or software that you use on a regular basis in your business?
I know, productivity tool-wise,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say our MAPS coaching
Right.
is so strongly tied to our productivity. So
Yeah.
And our
is that going to cause you to put that on?
Yes.
Yes. You said the magic word.
So I believe in having a coach in any important area of your life. So when I was competing athletically, I had a coach. My results were better. Having a business coach, yeah. And by the way, I hear a lot of people who talk about their coach but don't love the relationship. It's a relationship. Find a new one. If your coach isn't the right coach for you, hold that accountable. So we did make a change from one coach who got us to a certain place, and she was wonderful. But at some point, we needed something different, and we made a change. And from 2017 to 2018, we experienced a 71.6% growth in our commission income.
Yeah.
Wow.
71%.
You want our coach's name?
Yes, please.
Yeah, she's
After.
dynamite.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to share it with everybody. No, you get back, right? So, All right, we ready for the last question? I'll have you drop from the mask.
Okay.
I don't know where it's been, but
This is beautiful. What is that? Velvet?
What is your favorite type of food, favorite restaurant? I love Pita Jungle.
Really?
And sadly, my wife has a food allergy, and the last time she ate there, she had an allergic reaction, and she won't go.
no.
Sorry, guys at Pita Jungle. I still go. So
I buy him gift cards. I buy him gift cards.
Yeah,
to go.
when I have to work late and miss dinner at home, no problem, hon. I'll just stop by Pita Jungle on the way home. So that's my opportunity
Do you
to
like
treat
the
myself.
mahi dish there?
Okay.
With the jalapeno.
Full disclosure.
Okay.
I don't eat fish.
Oh.
I
I just
catch it.
fish.
I catch it. I serve it to my friends. I don't eat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when they come over for that party, right?
Yeah.
You've got a special grill back there with a fillet on it.
No.
He just goes to Pita Jungle.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
we also do
Special
chicken.
delivery.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So I love fish. So I would say my favorite food is fish for sure.
Oh, okay.
And local bistro, I love that in Greyhawk.
Yeah,
They
we love
have-
that place.
Yeah, they have awesome salmon.
All right.
That's probably our favorite date night spot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I would think you two would be more of local restaurant type
Exactly.
places. I mean,
Support
Pita is a
local.
little chain, but
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
I've been eating at Pita for
He just loves
26,
looking
27
at
years.
you.
Yeah.
They've been around that
It's
long.
his restaurant romance.
Yeah.
Pita Jungle.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being on the
Yeah.
show.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having us.
great.
It's been great information.
Yeah, you're a lot
Really
nicer
appreciate
than
it.
people said you were.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, Joey's the nice one.
Yes, I am.
Well, very sweet. Thank
And thanks
you.
again, Jackie. for
Thank
having
you,
us.
Jackie. Woo!
Thanks, Jackie.
Matchmaker Jackie.
Call
Yeah, there we
your
go.
your clients.
Call them. All right. Hey, agents, until next time, we will see you later. Call your clients. All right.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Good job. Nice.